You got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Only Friends podcast. We have a very special, intimate episode today. It's
Skeleton crew.
Just the Yinzers.
It's just the Pittsburg boys here today, baby.
Just the Yinzers. We got a Yinzer in the muck later
right.
on.
On behalf of it being a Yinzer-centric episode, I wore my Don't Be a Jagoff shirt.
I got the pirate shirt on as per usual.
Yep.
So it's like we knew.
My Don't Be a Jagoff shirt, my JC shoes. We're all Pittsburghed out here today. I got my pirate hat on.
Yeah.
Can you explain the JC shoes? I'm not familiar.
He is a designer from Pittsburgh. Actually went to Point Park. He's like in his mid-30s, I think. Just stumbled upon him. Had to support the brand, you know?
Okay.
Gotta buy local. Shop local.
That's right.
Guapo.
This is like the Townsend band that you listen to, right?
No, Leroy Towns is from
Buffalo.
Brent.
Well,
They'd love to claim Buffalo. They're from fucking Fillmore, buddy.
they're from Fillmore, but you know they've settled in Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Wow. Do they even live there, or do they just perform there a lot?
I think they live up that way.
I feel like they're still in the woods of Fillmore somewhere,
No.
scratching their
You
ass
think
on
Beav
some.
is still in Fillmore?
Yeah. I think he's out walking the pups in the Allegheny forest.
I mean, that may be true.
Scratching his ass on some pine bark, you know, just living the good old outdoors life.
Real quick tangent. When you go to the grocery store, do you
Quick
go to
tangent.
that,
We didn't already start on one. Go ahead.
do you do the self checkout, or do you actually go to someone?
I more often than not go to the self checkout.
Oh wow. Okay.
Berkey doesn't go to the store.
I
He pays people.
thought he would be the.
What are you
I thought he,
talking about?
That's
I
very
didn't
fair,
think he'd
Brian.
be that
Very
guy.
fair.
I don't know.
I haven't gone to the store in 5 years.
So I do both, and it just depends on what's in my cart, right? If it's a lot of produce, where you're gonna have to
punch in
you
the
have to
number.
punch in everything, and then and it's gonna take a long time. Then and there's no line at the
At the desk, yeah.
yeah. Then I just go to the person, but if I only have a couple items and I can just zip in and out, I just go self check.
I also don't eat produce, so not an issue.
That's true.
None of these things are issues for me.
Yeah.
Why do you ask, Guapo?
Brian and I were talking about Elon Musk's what is it? His self-automated taxi thing that's going on, and I was just thinking about all the people that drive Uber that are kind of be out of a gig, and it just made me think about all the different stuff that's just automated now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of with AI happening, and all these self-driving cars. You're gonna see a lot of things automated. You're gonna see maybe instead of a bunch of Ubers driving around, it's just self-driving cars that pick you up. And
Jetsons, basically.
yeah, no, I mean, Tesla already has humanoid bots that they use in their factories, and they mass produce those, and people will, they'll have them businesses will buy them to do tasks and manual labor, and then they'll have people might have them in their house. I said, could you imagine if you wanted to just imagine some obscure meal, I want chicken cacciatore today, and then the bot will just order Instacart, all the food will come to your house, and then it just makes it for you.
You just have your own in-house chef.
Yeah, and it also does your laundry and your dishes and your everything.
Yeah.
We might not be that far away from that.
It's I'm here for it, but also there's a part of me, and I don't know how much of this is just kind of the nature of being human and having past generations ingrained in your DNA. That's just kind of a byproduct of getting to this stage.
Mm-hmm.
But a big part of that kind of gives me the ick. You know?
No, I mean it's
because it's it's that notion that soft times make soft men type of thing. It's I love the idea of efficiency and optimizing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, and nothing's gonna stop it, right? If it's possible, we're gonna do it. I just wonder What are we going to do with all this excess time and energy?
Go to the gym. Stay hard.
Right. It really, outside of aesthetics, it becomes difficult to justify doing hard things.
The thing is I think humans, the reason we are what we are today in the society we live in is because we are so adaptable. And I think that like when something else is introduced, we will adapt. We will find different ways to be creative. We're creative creatures.
I just feel like this is how empires fall.
Maybe. I mean,
I have this image of the Roman Empire falling while Caesar's laying on his back eating grapes with his fat belly hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like Idiocracy. You ever seen Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a situation like where we just become fat and dumb and everything, we have machines doing everything for us. But maybe not. Maybe it's, we become more creative and we create a better world because we have more time to think, It would be interesting to see these resources applied to like big picture problems, right? Like not that, solving the day-to-day grind isn't. And I think they will be. I think we think of it as like, oh, it's going to cook our food and do our dishes.
Well, because I think that's the easiest way to market innovation.
Right.
Is this will make your life easier rather than this thing can, cure homelessness.
Right.
Yeah. That was actually the first thing I thought of too.
Right. It's just like if we're able to build like, shelters and
like you just have all these bots just building homes and
right.
and doing things like that. And so
also like with how like the shared economy has kind of come into mass appeal. Like that's the one thing I think the Zoomer generation can really like hang its hat on is they popularized shared economy. And this notion of like crowdfunding and crowdsourcing, things like that is just so widely applicable now. Imagine that you take that scenario that you just created where you can just say, hey, Alexa, I want chicken cacciatore at 6 p.m. And it automates the delivery.
Right.
It automates the cooking process, everything. Right. Yeah. Now imagine that at scale, where you just have a worldwide fund that people can donate to, right? Like, oh, you want to drop $1 into the Cure Homelessness Fund? You just do, right? And from that fund, that same process is taking place for people who are going hungry.
Going homeless.
Right? Like they could just go to a corner somewhere, press like a call button and say like, I'm hungry, I need a glizzy. And they're like, all right, well, that's gonna be $15 out of the fund. I hope you realize what you're asking for here. Like this is a golden glizzy.
Yeah.
From WSOP.
I was gonna say, where are they getting these glizzies from? WSOP, $15.
Right. We can feed the world from the South Point glizzies, but the WSOP ones, I mean,
it's only for the privileged like Helmuth.
I mean, I gotta assume the WSOP ones are all beef. Right,
they better be.
Those
goddamn better be.
So bad.
Those South Point ones,
fucking.
Those South Point ones have to be the down bad package that you accidentally get every now and again, where it's like pork, turkey, entrails,
whatever they're doing at
guts.
South Point, it's working because those glizzies are good.
Did you eat many hot dogs growing up, Guap?
I did. I was very.
Would you notice the difference between a beef one and a non-beef one?
I gotta be honest. I don't think so.
Oh man, I am. Okay, for somebody who grew up very poor and hungry, I was so goddamn picky. If you offered me 2 hot dogs and one of them was a beef one and the other one was like all the other meats that they just packaged together, not only would I know the difference, but I would starve before I would eat them.
I feel like if you just char the shit out of them, like it's really hard to know the difference.
Oh, we boil hot dogs where I'm from.
Oh yeah, no,
a little sauerkraut in there.
Yeah, you got to have that hot dog flavored water, Yeah. Wash it down.
No gracias.
With your chocolate starfish. God damn it, we're old.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Brian? Since it's just you and I to commemorate,
bust it out,
day, I think we're gonna read a little passage from the Isildur Bible. Let's see. Let's see what I can pull up here really quickly. Where's the dictionary? That one was fun.
Yeah, we definitely need some.
We need some.
I'd like to take some guesses as to what they actually mean.
Pittsburghese.
Yeah, little Pittsburghese. We're really dragging people along with us today.
Hey, this is what it is,
It's a typical
They're lucky this didn't turn into an entire Pirates podcast. I mean, I got a lot of things to say.
They are doing well. All right, we're gonna start with the C's today, Guapo.
Okay.
Do you know what concrete is? I actually wouldn't even know how to use
What is this word again? One more time.
Concrete.
Can you use it in the form of a sentence, please?
Yeah, I had to go downtown.
I think that gives it away. I'm gonna say this is.
Had to go downtown with my uncle to lay a little concrete in the driveway.
Yeah, I think that's concrete. That's
I've actually never heard that one.
It's funny because
like backwoods Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I assumed it was concrete as soon as I heard it.
So this is one that I didn't realize was Pittsburghese. But do you know what a cupboard is?
Oh yeah.
A cupboard, like a kitchen cupboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. See, maybe it's not a Pittsburgh thing.
Yeah. I would never refer to it as a cabinet. Only a cupboard.
Cupboard, yeah.
Yeah. This is a good one. Do you know what a ding is?
A ding?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, man, I only know it from like baseball.
No.
I think I got this
Go
one.
ahead. Yeah.
It's a dent in your car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You nailed it there,
Okay.
Brian.
Thank you. So that's also not a Pittsburgh thing specifically because so Michelle's dad owns a auto body shop, and they had they always had a German Shepherd. One of the German Shepherd's names, Ding.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
A couple more for you, Guapo. Do you know what a crick is?
Yeah, you're trying to say a creek.
Yes. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Pittsburgh.
I think
Listen,
you know,
my command of the English language being my second language, I got to say, is still pretty.
No,
good.
I think you're going to be an honorary Yinzer, especially today.
This is another one that I didn't realize was just us, but I can imagine it is. And again, this is backwards Pittsburgh, but have you heard anybody ever say the word birthday?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this isn't just Pittsburghese. One final one. Do you know what a blinker is?
A blinker, I'm going to say, is a turn signal for your car.
That is correct, Guapo.
Yes, Guapo is like, that's good, 100% on that.
You know what that tells me, Brian?
What?
That Pittsburghese is just fucking on it.
I think that
It's easily translatable.
Yeah, we've gone mainstream.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly,
Don't be a jagoff.
fuck Andy.
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
Even if you don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm
I'll
saying.
always be Team Zuzolo after I heard the what was it, the week after or the week before thing that we were talking about.
Okay. Next week, this week?
Let's not.
Yeah,
let's
I'm
not.
definitely on Team Andy.
No, you're not. Nobody in the right fucking mind. For some reason, your mic is echoing, according to the...
I'll just shut up.
According to the... We don't have enough people here for you to shut up.
No, yeah, you got to...
So you're going to need to figure that one out there, big guy. The thing that... what the hell was I going to say? Oh, it doesn't matter. Senior moment.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. All right. So let's get into all things poker. We got a lot to cover today. We have a really fun play down in the 100K, a play down in the 10K horse, as well as a bracelet that was passed out a couple days ago. So we're going to cover all of that, which includes the rise again of one Victor Bloom, Isildur 1. He's back, baby. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Isildur lore in a bit. But first, your boy got a little lucky yesterday. Got a little lucky. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I saw your celebration on the craps table.
Oh, shit.
Seemed
they caught that?
Inappropriate.
Shit. I didn't know that. Man, they got cameras everywhere these days, huh?
You'd think you'd celebrate your wins with a little more humility.
Did they tase that guy?
I don't know if they
He seems
tased.
a little old to be
He is
tased.
a wee man,
Do
huh?
they have tasers?
He is just a wee fella. How did he get up there without any?
He's like a little spider monkey.
That's true.
I love that he's just throwing money at security guards.
So what do you do if you're standing there and he just starts...
You take it.
Yeah.
But you're fucked, bro. They're the eye in the sky in casinos.
I know. Yeah.
Are insane.
Yeah. Right.
They're
It's
so
funny
good.
because like if there's like a $25K laying on the ground and there's like a $500 chip, better off taking the $500 chip because you're not going to get the $25K cashed.
You're better off in the sense that like you have a non-zero chance of getting it cashed, but the way you would have to get it cashed is giving it to someone else.
Yeah.
Could never walk up to the cage. Like
Right.
they just have
No.
you, man.
Yeah, of course.
I heard stories about like people finding chips on the floor or whatever and then getting trespassed when they try to cash them.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, just
I think if you find a chip on the floor, it's yours. I mean, possession is 9/10 of the law.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that they have imagery of who dropped that chip, right? So like, they can retrace literally everything.
Yeah.
So you have to be a good Samaritan and turn shit in. It's not worth it. Like, you find a 1K chip, you're gonna get fucking 86th if you try to cash that 1K.
86th?
Yeah. Oh, bro, this is why I get so frustrated about the WSOP thing, because they fucking ban people from casinos for anything.
I think if you find a chip on the ground, it's funny. What if you find like a $5 chip on the ground?
And you should definitely give it away. Give it back.
Right.
But I mean, they're probably not going to like go to the lengths of looking at the footage for $5. Nobody's going to complain about it. No one's going to say I lost a $5.
No, I think if it was like $1,000 chip on the ground, then it'd be like, I wouldn't be like, I'm going to go cash this. I'm going to be like, somebody lost this and I want them to get it back.
I can't believe, truthfully, in all my years of playing high stakes, I can't believe, especially with how irresponsible I am when it comes to managing the details of situations. Cannot believe I've never lost a large chip. It seems impossible to me.
Didn't you find chips in your pocket before, like
for sure money? I don't think chips though.
No,
I don't think chips.
It was somebody else that found like a 5K chip.
I did recently. This is fucking hilarious. I did recently clean out an old book bag that I used to travel with and found 25K from a past trip.
What?
This was like months ago.
25K?
I knew it was there when I found it. But like when I found it, I was like, oh yeah,
put that in there.
I took that 25K to wherever I went. I forgot about that.
But you completely forgot.
If I had given that book back away, I would have never. Maybe that's why I've never lost a big chip, is because I'm none the wiser.
Oh man!
But yeah, that was a fun day.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, holy shit! Look at that, 25,000. That's a car.
That happens to me too, but usually it's like a 5.
Fucking imagine. Fucking imagine, man, when we were 15 years old, lifting in the goddamn iron pit basement of hell with, the low ceilings and asbestos everywhere, us just shooting the shit on the bench press going, someday I'm going to forget that I even have 25,000 laying around my house, as we can barely afford the $5 monthly gym membership fee.
Well, you found a few cards, didn't you, in this hand?
I did. I did. It was worthy.
Cards that you needed.
It was worthy of a crap celebration. So, all right. So to set the tone on this one, and I'm curious of your guys' feedback. This isn't really in the muck, and I'm not going to go through it on Wizard because I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
But I am curious to hear you guys' feedback from, live players. So I finally get moved to the main game. I'm basically even on the day. But the main game's bigger. It's 100, 200 instead of 1-1. And I had gone from like plus 50K to even. So I'm physically even.
Yeah.
But mentally, I am buried.
Yeah.
And as I move to the main game, the player that the game is running around, the fun player, if you will, jockeys for position on me, which is like a big no-no in private games.
Yeah.
So I'm a little perturbed, but, whatever. We're both sitting 200,000 deep. Why not?
Is it particularly a no-no in this game, or just in general when you're playing big limits?
In general, any like private organized game that you draw for seats, you don't move.
Okay, so it's like a social faux pas.
Well, it's more so that it's just like we just don't like permit edge seeking. Right, like that's the biggest thing. That's why private games are good, is because you don't have the book back wearing like nerdy sunglass kid that's like, oh, the whale's in seat 5, I have to move to seat 6.
Because if you do that, then it's like, what's the point of drawing for seats? Like, if you draw for seats, then it's going to be random every time, and sometimes you're gonna have a good seat, sometimes you're gonna have the bad seat. But then if you always just try to move to the good seat, then you just always have the good seat, whether you draw it or move there, and that's not fair.
Right. So there were 2 seats, one to his immediate left, one to his immediate right. Usually we flip for it. He just moved left and gave me 2 seats to his right. So I sit and I'm annoyed. And to prove a point, I buy in for 50 big blinds, thinking that that's going to really teach some fucking lessons, because I was otherwise going to cover him or at least buy in super deep. He had like $250,000 in front.
50. So 1, 2.
I bought him for $10K.
Bought him for 10,000.
Fuck these guys. I fired off 4 10K bullets in an orbit.
Of course.
Literally in an orbit.
It's like it's a detriment to yourself by doing this.
I said that. I said I got myself buried because
to prove a point.
I was trying to prove a point. So now I'm stuck 40K. And I just reload for like 150.
Yeah, now you're like, fuck this.
Right. So now I have 150 in front of me. And it kind of, I don't want to say it worked out, but it kind of worked. I mean,
it obviously worked out.
But like as people come, so we make the game 9-handed and then we reduce it to 8 depending on like who is in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were 9-handed at that point. Somebody left. We reduced it to 8, and then they came back. Or somebody came back and we made it 9 again. But every time we make it 9, they always take the 5 seat. So they're always in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was my initial seat. So I kept moving right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we made it 9 2 or 3 different times until eventually I was all the way in the 3 seat when it was all said and done. So we put some space between us. And in the meantime, he just like, I don't have much experience with this player. My read is that he's competent. Like he comes across as a fun player who gives a lot of action, but also has a really good concept of what he's doing. Hence why he's sitting 200,000 deep.
Mm-hmm.
Younger guy, I'm always a little bit more leery of, or weary, I guess, of younger players because like
he's not an option.
How did you get rich? Yeah, no, he's an optional player. But
do you think that's going to catch on?
No, I think it's one of. I love Katie, but it's one of the dumbest terms I've ever heard thrown around.
Like it.
What happened to fun player? I liked fun player.
Fun player, rec player. Who gives a shit? Like these labels, like the problem with trying to soften the language utilized around the dynamics of the game is that you're trying to ignore how fucking competitive and cutthroat the game is. And you can't. Yeah. You can never take that part out of it.
Chaffee had a tough convo on it. He goes, optional player? What are we trading derivatives?
So
all
good.
Right, back to our game.
I get what her point was. It was trying to shed a light. Like when 15 women chop an event, it's because they don't do this for any other reason than the social aspect of it. Like the thing driving them to play the event and to feel like they all won is not the same thing that's driving most poker players, which is actually making money, right? And so I think like she was trying to create a conversation of like, well, everybody has different motivations in this game, yada, yada, yada. But I think that's the wrong way of looking at it because at the end of the day, it's a competition that money is what keeps score. And sure, there will be people within the framework of the game where they don't care about the money.
Yeah.
But you can never take that aspect away. If we stop playing for money, the game dies. No one fucking plays.
Mm-hmm.
I know Zynga poker is the most popular fucking form of poker in the world, but it's also like not serious.
Right.
You know, like you can play chess seriously for free. Your rating is worth something to everybody. Like there's some level of pride. There's no poker elo.
Right.
You know, there's no way to play this game without actually like we can't forget that we're gambling. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And the desire to remove the stigma of gambling altogether, I think, is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just stop losing the players that you're trying to attract.
Now, how is that changing the stigma by changing the name of a recreational player to an optional player?
Because
I'm trying to understand how you correlate the two.
Because the idea of removing the term recreational is removing some level of emotion that's attached, right? Like it's when you say pro versus rec, you're creating a hierarchy, right? I do this professionally, you do this recreationally, I'm better than you, right?
Okay.
When you say professional versus optional, it's like he chooses to be there, right? And that's true, sure. But it also is implying that like he's only there for shits and giggles, which may be true also, right?
I feel like a lot of like most recreational players don't mind being called a recreational. Like
None of them.
They'll all say like I'm a recreational player.
I truly think her bigger message was lost in the desire to change the name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the point was to change recreational to optional. I think she was just trying to highlight that there's a subset of this community that does not play to keep score. But I think that misses the mark. I don't think, like, look, it would be great if we could grow that that portion, but I don't think that portion matters because at the end of the day, the game keeps score, period. You can never take the scoreboard away.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like it would be like the equivalent of saying there are forms of baseball where they don't keep score. It's like, yeah, it's called T-ball. And like, do we need to grow T-ball in order for there to be a flourishing
basically
MLB?
Zynga poker is the T-ball
right,
poker.
Right. And it's like, do we need to grow that capacity in order for the MLB to flourish? Maybe, maybe not. Like, I'm not confident that that is a necessity. But what I am confident is that if you stop keeping score in high school, the MLB is going to suffer.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Right.
Right. So it's like at some point you get to a competitive level where it's there's enough on the line where keeping score fucking matters. And that's just the same is true of poker. You know, if like you don't want to keep score, then like play GTO Wizard. Get better, keep score through your study tactics. And like, if we want to shift into that vein of encouraging people to start at a free level where they're learning rather than a free level where they're punting, okay, great, fine. But I don't think it comes from changing the tone around the way that we speak about non-professionals.
Yeah.
That's just, that's my 2 cents. It's a really fascinating topic. I think Katie's going to be out here in like a week. Maybe we'll have her on and she can kind of give her take on it. But I think, bigger picture, I think we all want the same thing. We all want growth. We all want to be more inclusive and things along those lines. I think the problem is that when you get blinded by the specificity of how you want to go about that growth, you miss the mark, right? Like when your sole focus is just growing the game for women, you miss the mark of what draws people to the game to begin with. Yeah. Because largely what draws people to the game to begin with is off-putting to women, right? Like if you would have saw our game yesterday, you would have walked out of the fucking room. Like where people are crying when they lose, we're motherfucking one another. Like it was the most tense, competitive, like aggressive game that I've played in maybe all summer.
Yeah.
And without question, it was the best game that I've played all summer. Right? So it's just like...
And this is off-putting to women because it just felt kind of misogynist.
Well, sorry, I don't want to generalize. Yeah, I'm not saying it's off-putting to women because they're women. I'm saying it's off-putting to anybody who's not in it for those reasons. Right? So if the notion of like creating an optional player is that there are a lot of people who just want the camaraderie of being at a table, the skill aspect of problem solving in real time. It felt
very cutthroat. Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that it was cutthroat. It was reduced down to like this caveman version of poker, where we're just like clubbing each other over the head. It wasn't a high roller.
I can see where that's not appealing to not only a certain sex, but just to people in general who are maybe recreational players or however you want to label them.
I only drew the parallel to women because I was saying that's like Katie's passion.
Sure.
I'm not implying that specific group isn't competitive.
Yeah.
I was just more so using that as an anchor point. But like for anybody who comes into the space that isn't in it for the sheer 1v1 raw competition, like mano y mano, I'm gonna beat you to a pulp because that's the framework through which we're operating in this game. Anybody who doesn't have that level of like grit and I guess like just sheer competitiveness is going to be totally turned off by those who do.
Yeah.
Right. And this is not a male female thing. This is not a recreational pro thing. This is not even an age thing. It just simply comes down to what do you personally play for? And my bigger point is just that it really doesn't matter what you play for because the game itself demands that you do what it takes to win at least your fair share, right? So whether you want to be competitive or not, the game dynamics demand it. And that was the only point I was making of like trying to soften it and say like, oh, it's kumbaya, like let's chop 15 ways and let's remember the optional player and treat them kindly and maybe check it down with them once. Like that's what I take away from that, even though that probably isn't her message.
Right.
That's kind of like what I pull from it. And it's like I'm on Dankness's side. Like that's not what we're doing here, man. Like playing with a he's like, I'm playing with a Chinese man who only speaks in expletives. Like, you know, it's like if I'm gonna have to sit there as a pro and get cursed out every time that I win a pot or whatever, it's like part of me is gonna want to fucking needle somebody whenever they do it to me. You know,
this is understandable.
Yeah, it's kind of like all's fair in love and war, and like you can add the addendum of like end poker.
Yeah.
Although I mean, maybe in today's game that's not really a good framework to operate under because people are fucking stretching the boundaries of what is actually fair. But anyway, getting back to the hand. So we've been playing for a couple hours, and within that time frame, I haven't seen this guy get out of line once. Like, he's doing some shit pre, but it's the very typical advertising bullshit where it's like, you know, you have squeeze spots that you just know are going to work a lot of the time, like cut off button, raise call. Two players who don't really fight super hard for pots. You just squeeze the 8-5-0. They fold, and you just like happily table it. Like, I'm monkeying around. The action guy. Yeah. And it's like, Oken and I are kind of looking at it just like, I've seen this play before. I've done this before. So like nothing major is really happening. I play a big pot with him where I open, I get 3-bet by Dylan. He cold 4 bets and I have ace king off, and we're like deep. We're like maybe 125k effective.
You open cutoff?
He was button, so I open hijack cutoff button. So it comes back to me, and I end up 5 betting to like 25k. So he calls. Flop is Jack 8-6, 2 clubs. I do not have a club, which I actually think is really beneficial here because it's, you know, a 5-bet pot. So you're not against clubs here very often. But when you are, you beat them, right? Like when he has clubs, I have the best hand. And that's really fucking important in a 5-bet pot when I have the bottom of my range with ace king here.
You said you didn't have clubs.
I did not. So I think the SPR at this point was like 2. And I think it's like really close how to approach flop. But anyway, I decided to check. My read was just that like I thought he would overbluff, and I could actually profitably check call ace king where I didn't think I could profitably bet it. Like I thought if I bet, I would just get him to fold his worst hands like ace queen or whatever, and then just be fucked against a range that's like queens plus. Whereas if I check, perhaps he'll bet wider. So I check, he checks back. Turn is some sort of brick, like an offsuit deuce. I check. Now he bets 15k into 50. And I'm just like not wavering from the plan. I think I just like have the best hand here a lot. And, you know, I think the turn was a 5. It's like if I lose the ace 5 here, I lose the ace 5. So I call. River's another 8 pairing the board. I check. And he goes in this deep tank, and I'm like staring at him. And somewhere in the middle of like 30 seconds of him thinking, I just decided like I'm fucking snapping if he jams here. Like I'm just snapping. I don't know what it is. Like I can't explain it, but like I've seen enough. And if he shows me queens plus, congratulations, you won my stack. I'm gonna go home a sad camper. But
is he
like
ever checking back queens on the flop though?
I don't think.
Yeah.
Whether he is or he isn't, like I just
he certainly doesn't have an 8.
I mean, like, you know, maybe he bluffs with pocket 10s here, and like I don't know, but I was just like, whatever. I'm trusting my gut here. Like if he jams for 80k, I'm just snapping that dick, and like we're moving on with life. So he finally like begrudgingly checks back, and I showed on ace king high and win. I'm like, okay, we're doing it. We're doing the thing. Like he's kind of doing the thing I expected him to be doing. So now fast forward to the last hand. It's getting close to like the end of the night. I'm getting ready to go home and just lick my wounds and take my 60k loss or 70k loss, whatever it was. When this hand happens where one of the regs opens under the gun. So he straddled to 400. We're playing 1-2-4. One of the regs opens under the gun off of like 40k. So like 100 big blinds or 100 straddles. I have 130k, give or take. On the button, and I decided to just call.
What is that? That was the one that kind of threw me off.
Well, 2 things. One, it's nearing the end of the night, and he's since that ace king hand lost like 125k. So I think that he will press for action. Where if I 3-bet, he's probably going to be less inclined to cold 4-bet hands. Like squeezing is just so much easier than cold 4-betting. Whenever you want to be, you know, you look at 9-10 suited, it's really easy to squeeze it. It's really tough to cold 4-bet. And maybe that's a bad example, but like, you know, a hand like ace 7 suited, like these hands, like very easy squeeze. Ace jack off, very easy squeeze. Very difficult to put any money in once it's raised 3-bet.
Yeah.
So that was one thought. Second thought was that the opener is only 100 straddles deep. So I don't want to put myself in a position where like I narrow his range to only being top. So I'm just happy to like keep him wide, play queens in position. If it ends up being a single raise pot, it's not that big of a deal. And so he does end up squeezing to 4,500, which is actually small. And I remember thinking in real time, like, man, that's small for a multi-way 3-bet out of the big blind.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to make of it.
Just stasis.
And like, yeah, and you know, part of my brain was like, kind of like, oh, maybe he's giving a little fake action. And it's like, well, if you really want to like take this down, this is like, you make it 6K. You know, like 11 big blinds here is very weird. Under the gun calls. And it's like, well, now I have to 4-bet.
Yeah.
Because like that under
It's
the
just
gun
free money.
Yeah, that under the gun
It's
range is
capped.
just
Now
dead.
Yeah.
It's just dead. He never has kings plus and like always has jacks or worse.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I have to 4-bet. Hopefully I'll just get it in versus him, or you know, maybe we play a big one here versus the squeeze. So I make it 16K. He calls. Under the gun folds. Comes Jack 10 5. 2 diamonds. I have queens with the queen of diamonds, and the SPR is exactly 3. So it checks to me, and honestly, this is where I'm a little unsure what is correct. I missized a little bit. I miscalculated the stack to pot ratio. I thought we were a little bit deeper.
Is this a board where you want to go 3?
That was my plan. Yeah. So the idea was that I was just going to set this up for a 3-street hand. And then potentially play checkbacks if the board texture changed pretty unfavorably on Turner River. But geo size for flop was half pot at 3 SPR.
And you went like 2/3.
I went like 2/3 because I thought we were like closer to 4. Like I thought we were like 3.5 SPR. So I went a little bit big, and it felt fine but awkward also, in the sense of like, I need him to have draws and a jack. But again, like he's just squeezing and calling. So it's like there should just be a bunch of suited hands there.
Yeah.
You know, there should be a bunch of Broadway hands. Like it's not like he's going to squeeze king queen suited and then just fold to a back 4-bet. Maybe, but like that's fucking discipline, you know? So I was just kind of like, he touches this board. Like, yeah, he has jacks and 10s. I didn't really think I'm getting trapped by kings and aces that often, but of course they exist at some frequency. But you know, and then he has like jack 10 suited, which I can counterfeit. He probably has like a bunch of ace 5 suited. He probably has like other varieties of diamonds. He has Broadway hands like king queen, ace king, ace queen. Sure, he has like some jack X, whether it's ace jack, king jack, whatever. So it's just like, whatever, man. There's like way enough hands here to target. But what I never anticipated was getting jammed on. Like I just thought like, okay, the way this plays out is I'll dictate the betting lines here, because what the fuck ever wants to jam other than exactly jack 10? Like jack 10 to me is the only hand here that like wants to play all in.
That's funny. I was just thinking how jack 10 I feel like doesn't exist.
Why though? I mean, yeah, maybe he doesn't
he's out of
squeeze
position
it.
And he's calling a cold. What was it? A cold 4?
Well, no, not cold. It's like a back raise.
Yeah.
But also, we're 300 blinds effective, or 300 straddles effective. Like, what are you going to do after you squeeze jack 10 suited? Just muck? I mean, you would.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm saying that. I don't know, man. Jack 10 is. I feel like that's optimistic, but continue.
I hope he doesn't have jack 10.
Yeah.
I'm losing to that hand.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of hard for him to have a flush draw too.
But it shouldn't be. He should just have a bunch of Broadway cards, no? Like he doesn't have ace king suited.
Yeah, but you
ace
have the queen of diamonds in
just
your
getting
hand.
in there.
Yeah. So I block king queen and ace queen, but like he's still just gonna have ace king of diamonds. He's gonna have ace 5 of diamonds. You would assume he'll have some wheel aces, maybe some suited connectors like 8-7 or 7-6, something like that. 6-5, some pair plus type stuff. I don't know what his range looks like. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
I have no idea. So when I get jammed on, now he's shoving for pot. And it's like, well, I'm getting 2-1. I only need 33% to call here.
Be honest, though. You weren't feeling great about calling.
I would have been, except that feeling I had when I had ace king on the river, like, because the same thing, like I bet and I was looking at him.
And you were confident that you were good.
The feeling I had when I had ace king on the river with his body language and everything was the exact opposite of how I felt prior to him shoving.
Yeah.
Like there was a moment where he did a couple of things and I was like, oh yeah, like that was similar to the ace king. I feel good about this. Like I hope he calls. And then he kind of like collected himself and jammed and I was like, oh no, like what did I get trapped here by? But it's also just like, okay, whatever. Like people make a big deal, but like if I have kings here, nobody thinks this is an abnormal call off.
Oh, it's just a call.
Right. And it's like he doesn't have kings that often that it matters, and he's probably not shoving queens. So it's like, what's the difference? Right? I guess maybe blockers, but ace king's way more probable than ace queen. So it's like, I don't think blocking the queen is that important. Plus it's nice to have backdoor emergency outs, as we come to find out in this particular hand.
Yeah.
So I actually looked this up, and I gave him a range super tight. It was only ace king, and then kings plus. So kings, aces, tens, jacks, and then ace 5 of diamonds. So that was the exact range I gave him. I'm 41% versus that range.
Oh, then you have to call.
Right. So like that to me is like one of the tightest ranges he could possibly have.
Yeah.
If he ever has random things like a jack or like ace king offsuit, whatever. If he ever just has like equity that he's just jamming, assuming that I'll have some folds, this is like a snap call.
So if you don't have the queen of diamonds, does that make you call more or less? Because now you don't have the emergency backdoor, but it also frees up more for him to have more diamonds.
I would think you'd want to call more, right? Because now you assume he has more flush draws.
Well, you have slightly less equity, for what it's worth. But it's negligible. It probably just doesn't change. I mean, in theory, queens maybe mixes. But in practice, like queens, kings, and aces are probably just going to take pure action. I think the difference would be that I may be less inclined to bet the flop with queens, no diamond.
Yeah.
Just because like I don't have very many hands that have 2 diamonds in them, where he does or he should. And for that reason alone, like just not inflating this pot when the board texture is going to change a quarter of the time seems smart.
Yeah.
Especially when you are losing to some hands like jacks and tens and maybe a slow play kings or aces. But in any event, he did have aces, no diamond, which I didn't find out until after the first run out. So
so you get it in, and
we get it in, and he goes, do you have a set? And I go, no, I have an overpair. And he goes, which pair? So I'm just like,
why does it matter?
Oh,
I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. Like I'm just good. Or he didn't say which pair.
Well, no,
sorry,
I would think I would. Yeah,
sorry.
I would like think he has kings at that point.
Sorry, I said I have a pair, and he goes 2 pair, and I go no, a pair. And like the way he's bantering with me, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, and Brian Kim said the same thing. He's like, the way that like the negotiating went down, like I would be fist pumping with queens in your spot. And it's like, yeah, I was pretty sure I was good. So we don't table our hands until the first run out comes.
So was it immediately you guys were going to be like, okay, we're running it twice?
We run it twice. Yeah. Always run it twice. So the first run out comes 8 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds. So the turn 8 of diamonds comes off, and I go, I have a diamond. And then the river 9 of diamonds comes off, and I go, I have a straight flush. And he goes, you have a straight flush? I'm like, yeah. And so now Oaken, the brainiac that he is, he goes, he has queens. He has queens.
Good job there, Oaken.
Imagine I just table queen jack off with the queen of diamonds.
Yeah.
I think they call that deductive reasoning.
Yeah. So I table it then for everybody to see, because the cat's out of the bag. Oaken let them all in on my secret. I do have queens. And I still feel good about it. Like he like looks sad and doesn't table his hand.
Yeah.
The second run out comes another 8 on the turn, giving me a gut shot. And then the queen of spades on the river. And I go, I have top set, like kind of rehashing and spreading it. And he just goes, can I take a picture? And he tables black aces.
Oh my god!
Like, sounds like you took
as
it well.
many pictures as you want.
Did you take a picture?
No.
I should just your stack.
I should have Roger Sippled him.
Oh my god!
They're like, let me get it.
Yeah, can I get a picture? Can I get in this picture with you?
Yeah, come here. Put your arm around me.
So you said that's probably maybe the luckiest spot you've ever had in a cash game?
I'm sure it's not, but no.
I mean, that's pretty sick.
I think
it's got to be up there.
Especially for the
I mean, maybe there's a.
I played a 5-bet pot versus Marcus that ended up being ended up being $1.8 million, and I 3-quartered him in a spot where we were 50-50 on the turn.
Oh.
So I cold 4-bet squeezed. This is how good the games were back then. Seaver opened under the gun over the 1200. Doc Sands 3-bet. Marcus cold called the 3-bet on the button. I cold 4-bet out of the straddle with Queen Jack of Hearts.
God, you're fucking kamikaze.
Fold. Marcus calls. So now we're playing a 4-bet pot where I'm very sure I have the best hand. Very sure of it.
Queen eye.
Got the 2 better hands to fold for sure. And it comes like Queen 9. I think like Queen 9, 8, 2 spades and a heart. I have Queen Jack of Hearts. I see bet. He calls. Turn is the 10 of hearts, giving me now a straight and a backdoor heart draw. And I like bet again. He raises. I jam for. I don't know. Honestly, like thinking back, the hand was misplayed, but neither here nor there. It was just like, buddy, if you have ace jack, cold calling the button and then calling a 4, like Godspeed, or King Jack, I think was the nuts, whatever. So I ended up getting it in with him, and we agreed to run it twice, and neither of us show our hands. So the first run's a heart, and I go, I think that's me, and the second run is a brick, and I go, that might be me. And now we table our hands, and he has Jack 5 of spades for a flopped flop gut shot flush draw.
Right.
Turn straight with a front door flush draw. I have the backdoor flush draw, and I hit it.
Yeah.
So I 3-quarter him in a $1.7 million pot.
Oh, wow.
Tough for that not to make the list.
Yeah.
My guy's calling a 4-bet with Jack 5 suited.
Bro, Marcus was a fucking legend. Okay, he was there to ruin people.
I guess.
He was good too, but he literally just did it to ruin people.
It's amazing.
Like his entire strategy to no limit hold'em, it would have worked if solvers never, like he would still be maybe the best player in the world if solvers were never invented, because his entire strategy was so good. It was put in small amounts of money, pre-flop, flop, turn, and then put in all the money on the river. So like just build a medium-sized pot and then just jam river if you have blockers. Or put in like 19 bets pre-flop until like they'll give up everything that's not aces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like he found these 2 points of leverage where it was like, I'm gonna blast off pre, and if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna get the showdown and then blast off at showdown if I think they're capped. And he fucking crushed. And then we started studying, and it was just like, oh, you're an idiot. I call you a third pair. But like against, especially in that game, which was like very rec heavy, and they didn't want that level of aggression. Like I used to purposefully not overbet because I didn't want to, run the risk of losing my seat or whatever. I would forego the additional money in spots where I knew I had people cooled off because I knew that nobody would get upset by a pot size bet, and I didn't need to be greedy and take pot and a half.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But yeah, that one's up there for maybe the luckiest. I had a hand like a year and a half ago where a very special player came in. I don't think he's in action anymore, but
very special player.
He came in with like $500,000. We're playing 100, 200 in Bobby's room. He's sitting immediately to my left. We're chatting it up the whole time, like just having a blast. We're playing every single pot together. And one of the vultures came in late at night, took a seat to his left, sat with like 50K. Him and I are like $500,000 each. He gets dwindled down a bit, not by the vulture, but by some others, and has like 270-ish left, 275 maybe. And this hand happens where vulture 1 opens off of 50K and like has blades. We're all sure of it. It was a straddle, so it was 248, and he's in the special player's in the 8. Vulture 1 opens to like 2K, just we know he has blades. Like nobody wants to fuck with it. I have pocket 8s in the 400, and I call, and the special player calls out of the 800 straddle. Comes Queen 8-7 rainbow. Like check, bet, I call, huge raise, jam, cold call.
I remember this hand.
Call, turn like brick deuce, check, jam, snap. I have middle set. Vulture 1 has top set. Obviously, always had top set. So he's gonna win 150K main pot. But I'm now up for grabs for the like 475K side pot, and I'm up against Queen 7 suited that was just drawing stone dead.
Yeah.
What a hand. What a hand. I mean, like, not an out in the deck. He didn't even have the back, like, he was suited. He didn't even flop the back door.
Right.
My 8 wasn't his suit.
Just all that money goes in, he's dead.
Stone dead. Like, he couldn't believe it. Just beside himself, and then just, like, went right to the back rat table. Probably
got all back.
Probably played 10x those stakes.
That's a good feeling, though. You know, when you get it in just very bad, and you just find it on both boards.
Kind of weird, you know? Because I didn't know I was getting in bad, so I didn't really get to ride the roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know, usually like this happens.
The fact, you're like, oh.
Usually this happens like a tournament with like 18 people left, and you fucking drill a 2 outer for
cards are already on their back.
Yeah, for like 6 figures worth of VV. But I had no idea. I just thought I had the best hand the whole time. So whenever I scooped both boards, my response was literally just like, "What'd you think was gonna happen?
Yeah,
you got it in debt.
I needed both of those.
Well, I was 15% here twice.
Oh man,
shit.
That is.
Whew. I was just fist bumps. Unlucky.
What are the odds you winning both those?
It's got to be low.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do math on there, but it's got to be sub 10% for sure.
Oh, way sub.
Maybe sub 5.
Way less than that.
Yeah, maybe sub 5.
Maybe 2%. Maybe like 2%.
Wow. I had a backdoor straight flush.
I'll trust Efro on this one.
Yeah, but 2%. you burned a couple of those backdoors on the first board.
Yeah, 2 queens left.
He found one.
I mean, on the second run, I'm obviously at least 8%.
Yeah,
it's 2 queens left. Burning the backdoors is the right way to do it the first time.
Yeah, that's true, for sure.
On the turn, on the second run, I'm like 20%.
Yeah,
let's go, baby. Let's go.
20%.
I turned a gut shot and set outs. 15%. I don't know. It was a good day. I'll tell you who else it was a good day for. It was Victor Blum.
Ooh.
Isildur is fucking back, baby.
He is.
And he is taking charge at the WSOP. I really love to see his, there's, you know, the lore of Victor is one that the youngins, they don't know all about.
It's funny, when I hear that name, I immediately think of the
cartoon, the micros.
I think that Full Tilt made, or somebody made.
We had the creators in studio. Guapo, you were here. You
How much
remember?
did Hastings take
I wore the shirt the other day.
Oh, the micro shirt.
Yeah.
I think Hastings beat him for.
This isn't a matter of like 2 days, guys.
1.4 maybe. That number sticks out to me. Maybe it was a little bit more, maybe it was a little bit less. I'm not sure. But yeah, look, Isildur was like, he is
Rocket Man.
I mean, it's not just that he's Rocket Man. He's just like, he has a wild natural talent for gambling within the game of poker. And it's interesting because he got third in the 50K. And as far as I know, that's like one of the first events he's played in years. I haven't seen his name in so long. But it's also abundantly clear that he just like doesn't study these things very closely. Like the super sharp tournament, you know, the Landons of the world. Just like error, blunder. And it's like, even I was watching, it's like he 3-bets, you know, they're 1 and 2 in chips by like one big blind, and the next closest is like a quarter of their stack. And he has 10s in the big blind facing button open from the chip leader, and he just like 3-bets. I'm like, blunder. That's got to be really fucking bad. So it's like, yeah, he's not going to be like super crisp and sharp when it comes to measuring up against like modern day strat, but like he just seems to fucking get it. He knows how to collect chips. He's coming in today as an overwhelming chip leader. 27 million. Next closest is going to be Huney with 16.5. So he has 92 big blinds to Huney's 55.
Chance right
Chance
there again.
right there again. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it's the breathe right nose strips.
Yeah, it's the nose strip for sure.
You think there's something? You think maybe there's a little microchip in those nose strips?
No, I think you get more air into your system.
Gives him like a little buzz when
stimulate the brain,
like a little deck read. Like, yeah, we're gonna hit this
he can
one.
smell the deck better now,
Right.
You gotta be able to smell.
Well, it's like that kid
smelling salts. Wasn't somebody using smelling salts at the table?
The kid who lost heads up to Seward.
He wasn't smelling salts.
What was it?
Something.
It was smelling salts. Be like flip it. Smelling salts is like a.
Every time he was all in,
just
he
have
was like
smelling salts. I know, but it probably is like a calming mechanism thing.
Smelling salts.
It's not. No, smelling salts are like
what
make you like wake you up from like being knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked the fuck out.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seward knocked him out.
That's right. Knocked his ass right out.
I'm upset with Seward.
Why?
He accepted a gift from someone.
Oh, I know. I saw that.
The Becker hoodie.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
He also didn't come on here and get his proper flowers, which, hey,
come on, timestamp, bro.
He's still doing timestamps. I will say that. Kudos to the man.
We've had a couple people out there reach out, and they wanted timestamp.
We're gonna
need job.
We're gonna need a vetting process.
But I mean, if timestamp bro wants to keep doing timestamps,
yeah,
let him.
But at some point he has to pass the torch.
You would think
he's just very busy.
Yeah.
These people they want their fucking timestamps.
I know.
They come rolling in at midnight and they're ready to burn the place down.
Which is like, what the fuck do you want timestamps for? Watch the whole goddamn show.
Tell him, Brian.
Jesus.
Tell him. Timestamp.
What are we doing here? You don't want to hear me talk about the Pirates for 20 minutes in the beginning of the show? I don't understand.
You want to go down to Crooked Creek?
Go down Crooked Creek. It's right downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lore with Isildur that dates back to the pre-Black Friday days. Galfond actually did a fantastic piece. If you guys get a chance, it's like an 18-minute docu-series type thing that he did on the mysterious Isildur one. I don't know what it is about this kid. He plays all the fucking games. Seems like he has a high level of competency in all of them. He reminds me of like the online version of J Merce, with like way more spew, way more gamble. Like Jay never really put himself in harm's way when it came to managing money or shot taking or whatever.
No,
like
Jay's got a lot of gamble in him, but he's just sharp about it.
Right.
Not that Isildur's not sharp about it, but I mean,
right. But like he gets the opportunity to play nosebleeds. He's gonna do it appropriately to his role. He's gonna sell off and whatever else.
Jay has very good risk management.
Correct. Isildur was like bankroll on table at all times.
Let's fucking go.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
I fucking
what's
love
the
this.
opposite of risk adverse?
Risk on.
Risk on.
Yeah.
That would be where I would go with. This is
Sounds
my
like a
dude.
good online name.
I do like that. Risk on. Yeah. Click the button, baby. Smash that like button if you haven't already. No, but I do highly recommend watching the docuseries that Galfond put out if you guys haven't already. This guy's a fucking legend. It would be massive if this is his first bracelet in the 100K. He's in line to do it again, but he does have stiff competition.
Yeah.
Chance's second final table at a high roller this summer. Ponikov's is a fucking legend. Osmus in the mix, of course. Saliba coming in a little bit short, but obviously has more knowledge than maybe anybody.
This is gonna be a fun one to watch for sure.
I think so.
Saliba's the shorty, right?
Yeah, I think he has like 10 blinds, 12 blinds, something like that.
It's perfect. The Pirates are off today. I can just watch this final table and maybe take some notes.
I can't remember if Platt said that Jesse's in the booth again today or not, but I hope so.
Yeah, that would be great.
Would love to hear him call this action. I know Platt's on the sidelines doing his death walk per usual. God, man, I would sprint if I saw that fucking guy coming near me at a final table. Like, imagine you're on the biggest stage in the world. You're in the Horseshoe Ballroom in the Thunderdome, ready to play for millions of dollars. And here comes fucking Platt with his goddamn Grim Reaper sigh, a.k.a. microphone.
Well, he disproved that because he interviewed... he won the shootout.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No.
It was a ghost. Fucking figment of your imagination.
No, why am I blanking on this?
Because it doesn't exist. That's why.
Oh my god.
What do we have to pay him to just interview Becker all fucking summer?
Oh, I didn't.
It's like,
that's
hey,
sharp.
Platt, Becker made day 2 of the 3K. Want to go get his thoughts
Super sharp.
on min cashing for 4,500? Can we get a report maybe and watch those chips just fucking vanish? Christ. Yeah, really excited to watch this one today. I think it's gonna be a fun one to play down. There's another major final table that's taking place, and honestly, like, I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of looking forward to watching this one too, just because the lore of Ivy has gotten me into a bit of the mixed streets. The 10K horse championship is gonna play down today. There are 5 remaining. Shout out to Maria Ho. She bubbled the TV table.
Wait, Ivy's
6th.
not in there, is he?
No, but I'm on mixed games now.
Oh, I got you.
I'm a mixed game expert.
Where you're going with that?
No, I'm a mixed game expert. So Benny Glazer makes his second major final table. He final tabled the 10K Deuce to 7, got 4th place in that one. He comes in a chip leader with a whopping 22 big bets. So we're fucking rocking and firing in this one.
It's a lot.
The Eagle, he's in the mix.
Let's go, Steve. He was at my monster stack table when I busted on the bubble.
Yeah.
I think he made it. I hope he made it into the money on that one.
Hope so too.
Hope he wins does he have a bracelet?
I would assume so.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I would assume so.
I would think he has maybe at least 1 or 2.
Unlucky for Maria, but I guess shout out to Mike Leah, who put 2 big bets in the bag. He's gonna need a spin. But hey, if I know anything about limit, you can fucking spin.
That's right.
Which game of the horse games do you think would benefit him the most to spin? Can't be Hold'em, right?
You'd want an ante.
I was gonna say I don't think they play with an ante in Hold'em.
I think you'd want an ante in there.
I assume that being that it's. Do you think they pick up where they left off, or do they just start with the H? I don't know shit about shit, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know either, but maybe
they probably pick up where they left off, right?
Yeah. Would you want an ante? Would you want a split game to give yourself a chance to win at least half of the pot?
Probably not with 2. Maybe though. I truly don't know.
Yeah.
But I assume he's gonna be forced all in the first hand that he gets dealt.
No.
He's 2 big bets.
Okay, so that's.
Well, if it's an ante game, maybe he doesn't want an ante game, because then he's forced in action. If it's Hold'em and he gets the button and it's no ante, he has what, 3 hands?
Yeah.
Maybe he wants Hold'em.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't win as much, but like you get to be a little bit more. Well, that's also assuming that like he gets the button.
Yeah.
He could just get fucked and get the big blind.
Yeah.
Maybe it just doesn't matter.
But I mean, two big bets. 2 big bets is how much is an ante? An ante's only
probably a quarter of a bet.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's got plenty of chips.
Well, some of the games like you are forced bring in, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, if it's stud or
you don't want that
or Raz, then you're gonna have to like
you don't want that. You don't want to get a king in fucking Raz
and have to bring it in.
Right. I don't know. Good luck to Mike Leah.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if he spins.
Yeah.
Give us a fucking story, man. It'll be
right.
You and Isildur headlines tomorrow.
Yes.
Isildur captures title off of 90 big blind lead. Mike Leah comes back from the dead. 2 big bets into 30, winning the whole thing. There's only 50 big bets in play. It's actually not entirely untrue. There was a sick hand that propelled Chance to this final table, getting back to that 100K. This is actually like super gross and also like, okay, I believe in whatever fucking... not that I have any room to talk considering I just scooped fucking queens versus aces on a jack high board running it twice, but... From one lucky fella to another, I believe in whatever juju it is that this man is on. So I think this was with, I think this is the unofficial final table. So I think there were 9 left. Is that right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, this is 9 left. So they're just barely in the money, like 230K guaranteed or something like that. Chance gets pocket 9s off of 11 big blinds, raises all in minus a blind. Big Huny then is going to wake up with the old ace queen. Next act or second to next act?
Second.
Oh, yeah. One person folded.
On your left, Matt.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Why is it always such bad quality? It's not bad quality for my
from the
machine. No, but it's fine. I think you have your settings set low.
Yeah, I probably screwed it up somehow.
All right, buddy. Let's play this game. Why don't you click on that little wheel?
He's like, yeah. I mean, I
go ahead. Click on that wheel, and let's see what the settings are at.
It says auto.
Okay, why don't you try putting it on 1080p?
720 is the highest.
Okay, 720 we'll go with for the people at home. I got you guys. Don't worry, because I can't even make out this blurriness. So Big Huni appears to be 70 big blinds off of 14 million. He just calls, pretty standard, I think. And then Ponikovs wakes up with Ace King behind and jams for 50 bigs, also pretty standard. Huni's never going to really have a call here with Ace Queen. He'll have other hands that he traps here, Queens plus, Ace King, whatever. So he's going to ultimately end up folding. Now, all this is really standard. You might think like, oh, chance wins a flip. Who cares? No big deal. No, my friend. It's not that simple. Yes, that ends up being the outcome. However, the run out would have expired chance had Big Huni been able to stick around. So I think we see something to the effect of like 10-9-5, and it runs out like Jack King for the Broadway of Big Huni. Mm-hmm. Man, look at me. 10-9-5. Just fucking what a still trap up here.
It is, yeah.
You know, just I forget nothing. These burns and turns are so brutal. Anyway, it's gonna come running Jack King or King Jack, whatever.
Yep.
I don't understand the whole being stoic thing when all the cards are in the middle, all the money goes in. Like, show a little emotion, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like, what are we doing?
Well, if you win, you have to keep playing, and if you lose, you get to go home and kick your dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, you know.
Watch out, Pip. You're lucky. You're lucky you cracked aces twice yesterday.
I would never. She's so sweet. You guys can't see her. She's so sweet. But yeah, really pivotal hand there. Propels chance up to 6-ish million, which is about what he has now coming into the final 7. I think they're guaranteed like 350K, something like that. First place is
2.6.
Okay, yeah, 2.6. That sounds about right. It's gonna be a fun one. One bracelet to announce. The 2K No Limit Hold'em wrapped up, and wow, okay. Longshoreman. What a fucking name.
Longshoreman.
Oh, no, that's his occupation. I see. They were being quippy. I understand. The title is Longshoreman Ships 2K No Limit Hold'em bracelet for 410,000. So they were being quippy. His actual name, Jared Kingery. Congratulations, my man, on a huge win.
Also a great name.
Yeah.
Are they leaving Moron alone at this point?
No. The funny part is that's not even like his entire last name.
Oh no, they just shortened it.
Yeah.
Is it like Moron dash something?
Yeah. They're not going with the dash.
No, that would defeat the purpose.
Why would they do that?
And I mean, obviously it's not pronounced moron, but it is pronounced. It's spelled moron.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pronounced moron by all of us. Oh man, too much fun out here at the WSOP streets. You know, we're just having a blast. I'm enjoying.
More on cracks aces with queens on both boards.
Goddamn right.
After getting infinite blinds.
Oh, my apologies. My apologies. There's only 6 left, not 7. So they're actually guaranteed 512K. Nice payday.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the quick in the muck. We didn't even say where Conrad or Landon are, but they're on the turbo streets.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting it in.
Yeah.
Not like us. We're over here doing the hard work.
Baby dicking around.
That's right, baby dicking around. Go ahead. You got this one.
All right, yeah, we got Baby Dick in the muck. Everyone knows the Yinzer Baby Dick. He sent this. He's been thinking about this one for about 6 years. So this comes from the 2018 main event. Well, you can see there's still had the quarter ante chips in there. So this is before the big blind ante. And so it's kind of earlier in the tournament, first day 1, and he said that he's been playing pretty tight, and the villain has been playing, laggy, if you will. So standard main event day one. We got a limp, and then a limp, and then a limp, and then a limp.
Jesus Christ.
YOLO.
So 4 limps to Baby Dick, who's in the cutoff with the king, queen of clubs. And we're 150, 300. He makes it 2,300 off of 65K. Folds to the villain in the big blind, who 3-bets, who's been 3-betting a lot, to 6,400. And it folds back around Baby Dick, and he makes the call. We get the jack of clubs, 6 of spades, 3 of hearts. And the 3-better in the big blind leads for a 70% pot, 7,000 into 10. Baby Dick with his backdoors and overs calls. Turn is the jack of spades, pairing the top card. And now it goes check to Baby Dick, who bets 9,400 into 24,000. He's met with a call. And the river is the 8 of spades, bringing the backdoor spades in. And the big blind checks again. And Baby Dick goes for it with a bet of 28,000 into.
Shove, you pussy.
You beat me to it. I was just thinking of that hedgy bet that I do.
43,000. I mean, and he is met with a call.
Aces.
Might be aces.
Aces.
He said the guy tanked for a while.
Sure.
And,
Funeral for aces.
Yeah.
So it was aces?
Sure.
What was it?
It was aces.
Yeah. Of course it was fucking aces.
And
you have the king and the queen. Of course it's fucking aces.
Yeah.
Fold the flop, man. What are we doing? This is not a hand.
I mean, he's got backdoors. He's got 3 to a royal.
Yeah, but the flop size was kind of big.
70%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
You guys put in
big.
40 big blinds pre. I mean, that's not entirely true, but
No, 20.
each.
20. Yeah, 20.
Yeah. I mean, look, when you get 3-bet after ISOing 7 limpers, it's a good hand. Especially in the main event. What are we doing, Dick?
Don't do him like moron.
You
Come on.
You don't even get the courtesy of the baby in front. This is too gangster for your own good. Nobody's going to fold. First of all, shove. Shove the river if you're going to fucking commit to the bluff. We don't need you hanging around with... But also, you have 200 big blinds, man.
Those 50 blinds.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, but nothing folds to this size. The hands that you're targeting are just never going to fucking fold. You're targeting aces, kings, and queens.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a spade because you don't. Just fold your hand. I mean, we don't need much wizard analysis here. I think this is a pure flop fold.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
I just think this is a pure flop fold. I mean, maybe in theory you have to call because you have 2 overs and a backdoor and you need to find something to call with. But just call with ace queen of clubs instead.
Isn't it predicated on the size of his bet though? He went pretty big on the flop.
I think his size is good. On these textures, you need to be able to get the money in with overpairs. Yeah, I think his size is good.
No, yeah. What I'm saying is, from Baby Dick's standpoint, had he made a smaller bet, then maybe it's excusable to come along.
Well, for instance, 10s will never fold to this size.
Okay.
So if 10s don't fold, then you do need some hands that are unmade that can improve. But I think you want to go to hands that have some showdown value, like ace queen of clubs, spades, hearts. Hands that have backdoor straight draws, maybe.
So he says he said I think his he's c-betting this board at an extremely high frequency, but then he says
he should.
But then he says I think he may check some Jack X. So if he's c-betting at a high frequency, but then checking some top pair, he said also would be checking top set. But overall,
he would be checking top set.
High c-bet spot. We still have.
Yeah, I agree with both of those things. Why?
Yeah.
What do either of those have to do with rifling it off here with king high?
Well, I think
we have better bluffs. We just have better bluffs.
Yeah.
We have hands that truly can't fold, like Jack X, which turns to trips. So we have. I mean, obviously that's not better bluff. That's better value. But we have overpairs ourselves. We have real strong backdoor candidates like ace queen of a suit, ace king of a suit. Like, you know, if he 4-bets like ace king suited here pre in the main, that's goddamn torch. You're just asking for it. Mm-hmm. So like I think those are much better peels. Look, in theory the hand might call, but the problem is that in practice this guy's squeezing range is just skewed.
Yeah.
Right? He has hands that always squeeze. Always. And it's like kings and aces. Mm-hmm. Maybe some ace king. Mm-hmm. All of those have you in really bad shape. Now we have to like hope that he has a bunch of these other hands that we're doing okay against. And if we take a look at the way it looks like in theory, his range is just never going to look like this, right? Mainly because this range is predicated on baby dick opening 3x and him 3-betting to like 13 blinds instead of baby dick opening 6.5x and him having to go 20. So like if I actually go back and paint these ranges, do a little bit of do Picasso. A little Bob Rossing, if you will. Yeah. These offsuits are gone. Never, ever, ever. Not in a million fucking years. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. No shot.
All those Fantastic Fours should be gone too.
Gone, gone, gone. Hands that just like naturally call. Like unless this guy is wearing a scarf and named Lewis, these hands just aren't even in there. Honestly,
he said he was very aggressive in 3-betting.
Even he would just fold those hands pre. Yeah, sure. You can be very aggressive and still not show up with a king 6. Yeah. Out of there, out of there. Let's just
getting real skinny.
Yeah. Well, it should.
A very aggressive player from level 1 has 3-bet often, opening a lot, your normal tourney lag, but seems to be a competent player, not a donkey blasting whale.
Yep. I think we just give him more linear shit. You just give him more of the linear stuff. Because like that makes more sense to me. He's never gonna have Jack 6 suited, 8 suited. Like people just don't find these, and also they shouldn't because you're facing a goddamn 6.5x open. Like, just fold your hand. Just fold your hand. Okay. I doubt he is king queen off. Okay, this seems a lot more reasonable to me. Get these low frequency ones out of there. All right, now let's try. And I'm very sure king queen suited probably will not peel. Maybe though. Maybe you need a little bit of board coverage. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, you're right. He's betting a lot, as in always. He's literally always fucking betting.
Yeah.
And his size is good. 67% is what's chosen. He went 70. Size is good. Let's see what king queen suited does. Light up the blue, baby. No, it does call.
See that?
It does call.
How you like that?
It does call. It forces you to peel these back doors. All right, let's get in the fucking thick of it then, because we're peeling, baby. We're out here. All right, now Jack of Spades rolls off. What do we do when we are checked to?
We probably bet.
Yeah, I mean, well, we bet because I mean, this isn't his range, but we bet because like, look, he's still just supposed to value bet all of his hands.
Right.
If we skew this to him playing more scared, set strategy. Let's say check 75 now for over pairs, as well as third pair, if he even has it. Now his checking range is going to get a lot stronger, and we just won't get to rifle nearly as much. Okay, so now he checks, and we go small here, I assume. Yeah, only quarter. What did Baby Dick bet?
He bet
too goddamn big.
Yeah, he bet like 40%, I think.
Oh, that's not
24 in the middle, and he bet 94.
Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
A little bit
less than a third.
Yeah, a little on the large side, but okay, that seems fine. Let's see how much King Queen suited is doing it here. So clubs never. For whatever reason, hates clubs. Just does not want to do it with clubs.
Okay.
Why does it hate clubs? It hates clubs probably because you want your opposition to have clubs and hearts more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Jack of Clubs is out. So hearts are a little bit better because you block like Queen Jack of Hearts, King Jack of Hearts, where clubs don't have any blocking power over the Jack. So I think that's why it hates clubs. Not a big fan of candidate choice, but okay, we're in the mix. Fine. Let's go quarter. Response then by the overpairs. Mostly raising.
Wow.
Mostly raising, but let's just.
So he thought that he would never get check raised on the turn.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him. Let's take that option away. When we take that option away, he'll bet more now.
Mm-hmm.
So now when we go back to the bet node, he's going to bet more often.
Yeah.
So now it's 85% bet.
Yeah.
And now you see his hand's fine to bet. Doesn't give a shit about the clubs.
Right.
Okay, so now we get called, and river is 7 of spades.
River is the 8 of spades.
8 of spades. Doesn't matter. Same thing. You're going to see a lot of leading here, I think.
It's interesting how changing the villain's response changes his betting strategy.
Well, because everything's dependent.
Right.
If you know you're never getting check raised,
then you can fire away with all your flush
you get to go
draws
back
and all your equity hands.
Yeah, you get to go back a node.
Yeah.
Okay, let's assume that he doesn't lead 70 goddamn percent of the time because he probably never leads. Okay, so taking leads away. I imagine our bluffs mostly shut down without blockers. Because he's just too dense to calls. Okay. Only all in. Does not like anything but all in.
Yep.
Have to go all in. Clubs are not it because of what I said about the jack.
Right.
You just have no blocking power over the jack. Doesn't mind it with diamonds because at least you block queen jack of diamonds, king jack of diamonds, which is pretty fucking important at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Jams a jack for value, jams flushes for value, jams ace queen as the bluff. So I was sort of right. I said, just use ace queen, ace king. Although ace king doesn't really bluff. It does a little bit with the ace of spades, obviously, like the naked ace of spades. King actually goes for thin value some of the time. Wouldn't recommend in real time. Ace 3 bluffs. Nope, not true. Ace 3 makes flush.
Mm-hmm.
5-4's the go off. 5-4 is the what am I doing here? I got 5 high. Let's eat it.
Yeah.
But also, like, again, Baby Dick's range here is wider than it actually would be in practice. So if we narrowed his range even further, what would happen is we'd just see this concentration towards flushes and jack X, and then a concentration towards hands that block flushes and jack X as the bluffs. We wouldn't need to reach for 5-4, right? Because it just wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a good thought process by Mr. Dick, Mr. Baby, if you will, Clarence, I believe he goes by as well. Correct thought process, poor execution, I think. Have to be all in if you're going to do it. The reason you don't want to jam is because you know that he just has aces always, and that's what you're trying to get to fold. When you jam, I promise you those hands hero call always, or at least a lot of the time when they have a spade. Yeah, I guess it still mixes because it wants you to have the ace of spades naked to bluff, so it does still mix. But in practice, these hands are just fucking calling you, man. You might get queens to fold, but you block it, so it's tough. It's tough.
It's tough.
Respect to the Dick. You tried, man. You tried. I honestly think I remember him telling me that hand the year that it happened. It's been eating him up for that long.
He said he's been running mental sims in his head since that has happened. So.
It's a great lesson for the main event.
Yeah.
Like, not that the thought process is broken here, but that sort of what we used to call fancy play syndrome is so. You of all people know this, Brian. You don't need to do that on day one.
No,
those chips don't. They don't matter, man.
They really don't.
They don't matter, and you're not getting them back very often.
You just got all day to play like super deep poker. Just wait for a few hands, scoop a few pots, bag 50% more chips than you started with, and go on to the next day.
I don't fault him for taking a flop, but it's the main event. People are just so fucking tight. When the next aggressive action, that's why there were 7 limpers. Mm-hmm. Right? Because every aggressive action is tighter than it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Always. That squeeze isn't fucking 15% of hands. It's 6.
Right.
Maybe 4.
Even though the guy was a lag and he was 3-betting a lot.
Yeah, lags are they're fucking one-trick ponies, man. They're like carnival tricks. Where it's when it folds to me, I just open any 2, or I isolate limpers a little bit too wide, or I 3-bet my button versus cutoff a little bit wider than most. But who gives a shit? Well, how are you going to punish that? You're playing out of position, in a heads-up pot. Like, who gives a shit? They're not going to squeeze from the big blind and put themselves at risk versus 7 opponents who have money invested in this pot. Let it go, baby. Let it go, baby.
Just let it go.
You got to let it go. If you guys find yourself in the muck, please submit your hand to our Discord channel. That's at onlyfriends_pod. It's the pinned tweet there. Also, give us a follow while you're over there. Or you can hit hashtag Discord in the chat. It'll give you the link. Follow that link. Join the Discord. Introduce yourself. Head over to the In the Muck forum and go ahead and post a hand for the manager to find. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll be here all summer providing all of the WSOP updates. The bracelet winners, the cash game hands, the In the Mucks.
The bad beats.
The victories. Shout out to GTO Wizard for giving us this amazing AI to work with and for sponsoring this segment of the pod. We appreciate you guys so much. That's going to do it for us. We're going to be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. We're going to get Landon hyped up for day 2 of the 2200 mystery bounty at the Wynn.
Yeah, we need a score.
Bounties are worth $5,300 each. So collecting some souls will be very good for the bottom line, if you will.
Yeah.
And also...
Especially since Becker's still alive.
I was just about to say, bad luck to Becker out there in the 3K field. I'm not the kumbaya, I hope we all do well type this summer.
I'll take that role. That's fine.
Fine.
You know
I hope this kid gets fucking buried.
He can just, win and just have Landon win a lot more.
Buddy, I owe $28,000 right now, okay?
Okay,
let's have
after
him...
Landon gets done with this mystery bounty.
Okay.
Be fine.
All right.
You'll be fine. You'll be back in the positive. You'll be feeling good,
Feeling like good. Feeling like I just two-outed somebody for a
$250,000
pot. Thank you guys as always for rocking with us. We appreciate the support. Be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.